I guess I haven't talked for a while. My voice kind of cracked a little bit. I just got home from the embassy of the US here in Liberia. I just got an email this afternoon to pre-register for the emergency flight out of Liberia. I received the email around 2:30ish, a little after 2:30ish, to report to the embassy before 4 p.m. to pre-register. So they send you this like form to fill out, and then you have to get a copy of your passport. So it was already almost 4 o'clock, and I didn't think that I would make it, but I was told to go regardless. So I ran over across the street to the hotel, got the stuff printed out, filled it, called a taxi, and my friends helped me with it. They walked me through, and then got to the embassy around 4:45, and they let me in. So of course it was empty around there. And then once you reach the embassy, you can't take any pictures. I left my phone in the car. I didn't even want to take the chance. In the email, they specifically said, do not bring your cell phone. But you're still able to, because they have these little lockers, and they're about this big for the locker. And I don't know how many they had. They probably had about I don't know, less than 100 little lockers, maybe like 50. And they asked for my name, but I wasn't on the list. So they called to the back, the security guards called to the back, and they said any they passed the phone over to me and asked when did I receive the email, and I told her, and she said, okay, bring her through. I went through. There's an officer there. She writes down your name. She takes your passport, writes down your name, gives you a badge number as a visitor badge, and then you go around, and then you put your stuff through security, like the x-ray at like the airport. I only had a small pouch of the things that I need: my passport, my wallet, and a pen, and then the paperwork that I had to take with me. And then you just walk through, and then you're cleared to go out. And then once you go out, you open your own door, and the doors are so heavy. So the doors go out, and then you walk through. The guy tells you to follow the concrete path, and then you'll reach the next building. So as I opened this heavy door, I went out, and all I heard were chirpings, and automatically, right when I stepped onto that concrete pavement, I felt like I was in the jungle, because there were so many birds, and they were just chirping. You can see them flying, and I just was I couldn't take my eyes off of them. There were huge, massive trees just surrounding the pavement area, and it's a big pavement, and then it goes curves around and it goes through, and I'm just walking through, and then there's some flowers. I think they're hibiscus flowers, I'm not really sure. They're yellow, really pretty. They bloomed very nicely. And there are just hundreds and thousands of birds there. I was really amazed, and I felt like I was in the middle of the jungle. It was silence. There's nobody around, just birds and trees, and the sun was like, it wasn't setting, but it was close to it. And the glare of the sunshine of the light coming through the trees, and then you just see the birds just flying everywhere. It was an image. It was very nice. So once you enter, you wash your hands again, then security gives you a number, and then you have to register in a window, and then that person tells you to go wait. And as I waited, right when I went in, so I was like, wow, there's a lot of birds outside, to the security guard. And they're like, no, that's bats. I go, what? Those are bats? And he's like, yeah. And they started laughing at me. I did not realize there were bats. I just saw birds just flying everywhere, 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 everywhere. And I assumed that they were birds because they sound like chirpings. And that threw me off. So when the guy told me to go wait, there's big windows, and I was able to actually now see that they were bats. You see their wings, and then you can see clusters of them just hanging on the branches. Just clusters and clusters and clusters everywhere. And I didn't have my glasses on, so I can't really see them so clearly, but you could just see clusters of them. It was just so cool. And then my name finally got called, and he actually pronounced my name pretty well. So went to window number 6, and yeah, he just pre-registered me, asked if I wanted to get on the flight out, if I could get on one tomorrow. I said yes, and then they just, asked the necessary questions, explain how this process kind of works. They don't have all the information really, but it is possibly a cargo plane. It's not like one of those 747s where you have like the luxury of having a meal and all that stuff. It's just, you get a seat, you get out of here. So we just have to be prepared of what we need to do, the food and the drinks that we need to take with us, and just be cautious about what we're gonna be in. I don't even know how. I asked if we were going to be seated next to each other, and they said most likely, because they want to see how many people they can get out, as many people as they can get out. So that's kind of scary. And I also asked if people were being tested, or how they're going to be screening the people who enter the plane. So, I guess the usual temperature, cough, any illness or anything like that, then they'll check that, because the first flight was a medical evacuation, so medical patients only. Now it's just the necessary people, and then they'll start bringing people in. But I heard earlier today there was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. No, I lied. Take that back. There was just about 100 people today, and they pre-registered people yesterday. They're gonna do some more tomorrow. But I was able to go through, got that email today, so that was kind of cool. What else? Yeah, so got out, and when I got out, now I was able to really see the bats, because I exit that building and I have to take that pavement back to the officer to turn in my badge. And oh my gosh, they're really bats, and they were hanging on every tree, the palm trees, and there's many trees all over Liberia. I've just never seen any bats. And you can't take any pictures because you can't take any phone with you. You can't even take it from outside the embassy. So, but it's just, I was in awe. Like, I was in awe. I was mesmerized by these bats because there was just thousands of them, literally. Um, and then, so once I turned in my badge, exit, and went back to my taxi driver because he waited for me outside the embassy. And I told him, "Did you see the bats?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he told me that, yeah, there's a lot of them. And he said during Ebola time here, people were so scared of the bats. But I don't know, they're just there. That's the first time I've ever seen the bats there. I didn't even know they were bats. I thought they were birds. Pretty cool. Anyways, I guess that's my spiel for the day. I have other stories. That's my spiel for the day. Alright, that's it. But I'm pre-registered, so there is a flight tomorrow, April 1st. We'll see what happens. If I stay or if I go. I don't know. Stairs again. Doing laundry. And the sun is setting. Very cool. Hey, I'm just wrapping up on today. Is day 15? I hope so. Maybe 16. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 14, 15, 16. Today's day 16. Wow. I didn't really record much. It was a bunch of bird watching all day. And then I had some stuff to do. I don't think I mentioned anything about yesterday's tetanus shot. I wanted to elaborate some more on what happened yesterday, and it just, a lot of stuff happened in between, so I wasn't able to record. Anyhow, I was massaging it yesterday. My friend told me to massage it because you want the vaccine to absorb into the skin, and so it wouldn't be so sore today. And guess what? That's how it looks. And it's pretty sore. It's hard. So hopefully it looks better tomorrow or shortly. So it's normal. This is probably bigger than the cut that I got. It was a minor cut, but just because the screw was so rusty, I wanted to just make sure. But what happened at the clinic, so I went to the clinic, the private clinic, and they were gonna charge me, or they did charge me $40. I went to Fidelity, they charged me $40 for the vaccination, and they gave me the incorrect one. Luckily, there was a doctor there that I knew, and he was able to check it out for me. So I did purchase it, and interesting thing that they do here. So you can purchase it, and you have the choice. It comes with the charge. You have a choice of them administering it for you there, which a nurse will administer it for you, or you can take it away, and, or as they would say in Liberia, carry away. And I was thrown off when they asked me, like, how do I want to take it? And I said, oh, don't you guys do it? And anyway, so they told me those were the choices. So I opted to take it. And so luckily I did, because then my friend was able to check to see if it was the correct one. And come to find out, it was not, because I think that one is a, what do they call it? They gave me the I think it's a children's one. It was like a bigger vial. They're supposed to give me like a 0.5 or point something. It's way smaller in a small little tiny vial, and it's the TT one, tetanus toxoid, something like that. Anyway, so I had to get my money back, and then, which they did because I never used it, and the doctor actually returned it to the pharmacy because you have to go to the pharmacy to actually get the medication. And then I went to JFK and did that whole thing, and so instead of paying $4, I paid less than $1. Well, pretty much $1 for my vaccine of tetanus shot, and the nurse there was able to administer it for me. So it was great. It's just a precautionary thing. Again, the cut wasn't bad, but if something rusty like that cuts you and you start bleeding, then yes. If it's available out there and for me to take it, yes, that's what I'm gonna do. But when I went to Fidelity, so I entered the building. Well, I entered the parking. So when you go in, there's a gate, and you enter. And the first thing you have to do, of course, is wash your hands. So I washed my hands. And then the guy that was facilitating the patient flow into the clinic asked me if I wanted to be seen, and I said yes. And so since this whole COVID-19 is happening, you know, social distancing and taking precautionary levels, he asked me to sit down, and the chairs were separated. So there was only about 6 chairs outside, and there was 3 patients already waiting. And so there were a couple chairs available, and he asked me to sit, and I said, oh, that's fine, I'd rather stand. And he goes, sit. And he kept insisting that I sit down on the chair, and I said, no, I refuse. And I just said, no, I'm okay, I would rather stand. I'm gonna stand right here. And then, so I just stood in front of the chair since he wanted me to be by the chair. And so he really kept insisting and trying to force me to sit. Like, he didn't physically try to force me, but he just kept saying, like, putting his hand down, sit, sit, sit. And I just kept saying no. So then the lady that was sitting across, she actually jumped in and spoke Liberian English and said that I didn't want, like, it's fine if she doesn't want to sit, she wants to stand, let her stand. Like, she doesn't want to sit on the chair because the chair can have something contact on it, so she doesn't want to sit on it. And it was a cloth chair, so that's why I just didn't feel comfortable in sitting. And she just kept, you know, she pretty much explained it to him and told him to leave me alone. So thank you, I appreciate that, because I don't think he was gonna stop unless, you know, someone said something to him. And she was badass. Her hair was like short, she had some nice sunglasses on, her blazer, and she was chilling. But yeah, kudos to her. And so anyways, he let me stand, and they came out pretty quickly. He went inside, the guy that was trying to tell me to sit, he went inside, got the guy who checks me in, and he told me, he asked me what was going on, and then he directed me to pharmacy, and then that's where pharmacy took care of everything. But didn't take care of things because they gave me the wrong vaccine. But everything went well at JFK. It's the main hospital, and I was kind of afraid to go in because I haven't been going in. They told me to stay home for quarantine, and since I had to, it was kind of like for my health. I actually went in, and it was a process. It was difficult to go into the hospital because, again, they check temperature here, they make you wash your hands, and it was so unorganized at the gate because you have cars trying to go in, and then you have pedestrians trying to enter, and they only had one thermostat reader, so like a thermometer. They only had one thermometer, and it was the one that you shoot, and he kept going to the people in the car instead of the people waiting in the hot sun. And it's scorching hot outside and humid, so I'm freaking sweating. The girl next to me is sweating, she works in there, and the other people, they're all sweating. And it's like, hello, take our temperature, We're standing outside. We came before the cars, and these people are in a vehicle with AC on. Like, come on, really? So it's kind of unorganized, but I finally got through. And then, yeah, and the rest you saw from yesterday. But it was interesting. I was kind of bothered by the guy telling me to sit down, but you know, maybe he was just trying to be polite. But anyways, I did get my vaccine successfully, and that's all the talk I have today. There's a lot of talking today, so if you made it through, thanks for listening. All right. Oh, today I started this Mel Robbins creative live class thing. So it's pretty cool. So I started this. I skipped the 5-second rule because I've heard her 5-second rule story already with Lewis Howes and the interview they had. And so there's 16 course, and I'm on episode 7. It's nice and quick. It's a 5-hour lesson, and you know, there's some very useful information there, all about confidence and reassuring yourself, just to build. That's what it is. Break the habit of self-doubt and build real confidence. Her insight's very cool. It's just learning about yourself, the difference between feeling and your choice. So kudos to Mel Robbins, and that's what I'll be doing for the next couple days. And this is a reason why I have been delayed in uploading, but I'll get to it as soon as I can. Toodles noodles.